Mixtapes and DVDs is my era.
Facts.
We did it better.
Yep.
Pelly leathers,
Facts.
ACG boots. We 80s babies
Woo.
and early 90s when it got grimy. I was out of this world, you could not find me unless you check the lobby. Hustling was my hobby. We was lobby boys
Yep.
before Jim Jones. You could catch me in Harlem eating Jimbos. Check this out. If you need promotion on my channel, hit my email up. Whether you rap, sing, got your own restaurant, your own clothing company, and you need promotion, hit me up and we could do some business for short paper. And also tap in with me and get some of this merch. This definitely represent the DVD era. Check out this fire merch, man. Tap in with me and come and cop something. DVD Era TV back at y'all with another one. Y'all know the slogan. Let's get straight into this one. Now I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to tell an industry story that I was around for. And I'm going to see how y'all like it. If y'all like it, I'll tell some more industry stories. Now, when I did a video on this situation, I did mention that I was outside of Apollo when it happened. I believe it was the Justos Mixtape Award. And me and my partner was outside getting footage for the DVD we had at the time. We was like 19, 20, you know. I've been grinding with the rap thing since like 18, you know what I mean? I was on hundreds of mixtapes and DVDs. Now, so it's the Mixtape Awards. It's at the Apollo on 125th Street in Harlem. Me and my partner is outside getting footage for our DVD. We getting drops. We getting small little footage and small little interviews. I think this day we recorded Troy Ave and Whole Vein, rest in peace. They did a little situation for our DVD outside of the Apollo. And, you know, we used to run into Troy Ave often, different places. He's selling his mixtape and we grinding as well. Now, for those that don't know, in the DVD era, mixtape era, that's how you network. You go up to parties or you go up to little shows and events that was going on. If you're not going inside, you stay outside, hand out mixtapes or meet people, take pictures with them, record them, and just network. You get what I'm saying? So that's what everybody was outside doing that wasn't going inside the awards. Now, as we outside networking, you know, a car pull up and, you know, every time somebody special pull up, you know, everybody's looking. So it's Tony Yayo. He hop out. He got an entourage with him. He walks into the Apollo, but they walking like they on their shit. You know what I'm saying? They walking like, yo, we here. What's up? G-Unit in the building. They saying that too, like, G-Unit, what up, what up, what up? So they walk in the Apollo and they skip the line. Him and his whole entourage basically rush the Apollo. Now, as they get in the Apollo, we just hear like mad commotion, mad yelling, mad screaming. But us on the outside, we didn't know what was going on inside the Apollo. We just heard the ruckus and the chaos when Tony Yayo and his entourage went inside. We didn't know what was going on. According to Tony Yayo, that ruckus we heard when he got inside was actually him bumping into Jimmy Henchman. Now, Yayo said this day he had some hitters with him. He had Monster with him. He had Mazaradi Fox with him and some other guys that was ready to go. And he said basically Jimmy Henchman came up to him and said, what's up? And shook his hand or whatever, but it rubbed him the wrong way.
You know, I had some knuckleheads with me, Mazaradi Fox.
Rest in peace.
You know, rest in peace. I had Monster with me.
Now, I don't recall seeing Mazaradi Fox, and I don't recall seeing Monster with Yayo coming in the building. And, you know, at the time, I didn't know who Monster was anyway. And I'm not even sure if I knew who Fox was at the time. I think I got on to Fox a little later. But anyway, I'm going to get into all the events that supposedly happened with Yayo and Jimmy Henchman that night. Now, mind you, I wasn't in the Apollo when all of this was going on. I was outside, but this is public information. This is one of the confidential informants on Jimmy Henchman's case that told this story exactly how everything went down. And according to him, he came there with Jimmy Henchman and a few of Jimmy Henchman other people. You know, they was outside waiting for the person that Jimmy Henchman came to see, and dude was taking too long, so they decided to go inside. As they was going inside, it was a big commotion because Yayo was coming inside at the same time. So Jimmy Henchman goes to approach Yayo like, yo, what's up? Yayo says, what's up with Game? This is my brother 50.
I felt like when he said what's up to me, Sock Passe and Game was dissing me. When he gave me that dap, I just was like, man, get the fuck up out of here.
And one of the dudes that was with Jimmy Henchman is like, yo, he's the game manager. He ain't got nothing to do with that. That's beef between two rappers. He's just the manager. So now as Jimmy Henchman and his people went through the metal detectors or whatever. They're heading in the Apollo. They end up by the bar. They notice some of Yayo people follow them. One of Yayo peoples backs out a gun and say, "Give me the word." Now the person that backed out the gun on Jimmy Henchman and his peoples was Mazaradi Fox.
I told you pull the strap out in the Apollo. Like with Jimmy Henchman, pull the strap out. Niggas wanna do, nigga. It's the Fox, nigga.
One of the dudes that was with Jimmy Henchman, he thought it was best for them to leave because they was outnumbered and one of Yayo peoples had a gun pulled on him. And he said he was familiar with the blocks in Harlem and he know if he went through that exit that they were by, it would let him out on 126. And his car was parked there already anyway. So he was like, yo, let's just go in my car and get up out of here. Now, as the cooperating witness explained being in the car with Jimmy Henchman, he was like, yo, I can't believe that just happened. And Jimmy replied like, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of that a little later. And he was like, nah, we gonna take care of that now. So he gets on the phone, call his man up and tell him to bring some guns through. He says, man, get there with like 4 of his guns, you know, different type of guns. And he says, Jimmy made a phone call to somebody who was still in the Apollo and asked what Yayo and them was at. And that person was like, yo, Yayo and them leaving now. Now they go back to 125th and see Yayo and his entourage leaving out the Apollo. They believe Yayo getting in his Bentley and some of his other guys are getting in other cars. But they decide to follow the Bentley. As they follow in the Bentley, they believe he's going to Queens for some reason, but he ended up stopping on Madison between 126 and 127. And they said some of the guys that was in a Bentley hopped out the car. That's when the cooperating witness thought it would be good to lay on them. So he made a phone call to his dude that had the guns and was like, yo, put some holes in that Bentley, shoot that Bentley up. He then would say that's when he heard about 5 or 6 shots go off as him and Jimmy Henchman is in the cut, parked up. He see the dudes in front of the Bentley hit the ground laughing, and then, you know, the Bentley speeds off. After the Bentley speeds off, he drops Jimmy back to 125th. He gets in his car with his driver and he leaves. He said they didn't speak about the shooting, but he said to Jimmy like, yo, that'll teach them about pulling out guns and not using them. Now, what's even crazier about this story is they found out somebody was hit in that Bentley that they shot up. And they found out from a person that was backdooring Tony Yayo and them. He was hanging out with Tony Yayo, but he was broke on hard times. And he was going to Jimmy Henchman, giving him information, and they was paying him to give him information.
Now, after Yayo Bentley was shot up by Jimmy Henchman, there was a lot of back and forth between Henchman and G-Unit that got serious. Like situations where Yayo mom's crib got shot up, Jimmy's son getting smacked, and, you know, people dying and getting shot behind this situation. Jimmy wasn't playing, and, you know, things got real serious in them streets. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like Jimmy Henchman was trying to make peace with Yayo, but Yayo was just being hot-headed, and he kind of started a whole war. Now, it's subjective. Some people said he was already beefing because he was rolling with the game. And, you know, 50 was signed to Chris Lighty, and Henchman and Chris Lighty had a little thing going on. So it's subjected to when it really started. But I feel like Yayo really took it to a next level by having Fox pull that gun out on him. That's when the gloves got taken off and things just got serious. Now, if Yayo would have been more humble, I feel like nothing would have really went that far as it did. And not saying that Yayo had control over Fox pulling out the gun, but sometimes your homeboys go off your energy. Now, even though all of this occurred while we was outside networking, we didn't know none of this stuff was going on till a few months later. You got to think about it. At this time in 2006, there was no like World Star. There was no real internet. So you didn't see or hear anything that was going on. So if something happened behind the scenes in the industry or in the streets, people kept it in the streets. Now, you might have heard it a few months later down the line when DVDs came out. You got to remember, DVDs came out like every 3 to 4 months. It wasn't news that was uploaded like to YouTube, how it is now, and to these blog sites. So you don't be knowing what be happening until like another DVD come out. So if this happened in May, another DVD might not come out until September, and that's where you might get the news. So we ain't never find out about none of this stuff going on until a few months later. But this night was cold as hell. Like, it was Brick City outside this night. And I remember when I got back to the crib, I had like a fever and I got sick for about 2 weeks. You know, when you go to events, even though we was going outside the network, we knew other rappers was going to be there. So we dressed to impress and put that shit on, you get what I'm saying? But I was sick for like 2 weeks. Probably had the flu. You know, at this time, you just get a cold. You just think it's a cold. You don't really go get checked out for it. It wasn't no COVID or none of that at the time. So the whole time we out there getting drops for our DVD and it's going down, you know, it was a lot of altercations I heard that night as well. You know, we seen a little security running back and forth. But like I said, it's a different situation when you're outside. But anyway, tell me if y'all like this story. And if you're a fan of these old hip-hop stories, tell a friend to tell a friend about my page. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. More content coming. And I'm out. One.